So if you're over 50 and you've decided to get back in shape, you're not sure where to start, and you want to make sure that you're on a path that's going to make you successful at that endeavor, then watch this video for 3 tips that are going to help you succeed. So you've started down the pathway to getting yourself in shape, to getting fit. Well, let me tell you, it's a well-traveled pathway, and it's littered with a lot of failures. There's a lot more people who fail to achieve their fitness goals than there are who succeed. So I'm here to give you 3 different tips, 3 different points that are going to help you succeed. And let's start by looking at the difference between people who succeed at any endeavor, including in business, whatever it is, versus people who fail. One of the key differences between people who succeed and people who fail is how they look at things. So when it comes to fitness, most of us start down this path because of something we don't like. Something like we don't like the way we look in the mirror, we don't like the way we feel, we don't like that we can't make it up the flight of stairs to our bedroom, to our office, whatever it is. But it's generally something that we don't like, and it's a negative way to approach the world. Most people who succeed at business love what they're doing. They're excited about the future. They're looking towards a goal. They're not looking at, I'm broke right now, I don't have the resources, those kinds of things, which would be kind of a comparable to looking at how you are right now. So fitness in general, I've said this before in some of my previous videos, fitness starts up here. If you don't have your mind straight, that's right away, you're going to succeed. So one of the ways to get your mind straight is to stop looking at it from where you are right now, but look at where you're going. And instead of looking at how you feel, how you don't like something about it, there's an old saying that whatever it is we focus on, we get more of that. So if you're focused on how you feel right now and how you look right now, you're just going to get more of that. So change your focus. Change your focus to the future. Look at the horizon. Look at what's out there in distance. Look at what you're going for. Don't look at where you are right now. And it's a daily practice. It's not just you're going to do this one day and say, you know what, I'm going to look at the future. That's it, cut it off. It's a daily practice. People who succeed in business and other areas of their life are constantly taking in positive information, positive reinforcement, finding things that support their goal, things that give them a great way to look at that horizon out there. So make a daily effort to put something positive into your head. You're getting surrounded by all kinds of negative people, negative things in your life all the time. You get plenty of that. It's rare that somebody is positive, that there's positive input that comes into our brains. You have to stand guard at the gates of your mind and put in things that are going to help you achieve your goals. Find something positive, read a book, listen to a podcast, do your own self-affirmations, tell yourself how great this is going to be. But do it every day. Start your morning that way. It's a great way to start the day. That's tip number 1. Get your mind straight. Okay, tip number 2, recovery. As we get older, especially if you're over 50 or over 60, there's a lot, and if you're out of shape in the first place, there's a lot of things in your body that have slowed down and gotten a lot less efficient, let's just say. And one of those is your ability to recover from exercise. So bad news is when you start exercising, you're going to get sore. The good news is that is evidence that you're working out hard enough to stimulate growth. Whenever you exercise, especially resistance exercise, when you lift weights, when you do anything with your muscles that taxes them beyond what they're currently normally used to doing, you do damage. And that microscopic damage results in some of the pain, the lactic acid and things that you experience as a result of the exercise. Typically, when you do a round of, let's just say, bench press or some resistance exercise, The day after you do that, you might get a little bit sore. First, especially when you're first starting out, and if you're completely untrained, you might get a little bit sore that day, but you're going to be more sore the day after, and you're going to be extremely sore on the third day. In fact, we used to have a kind of a standing joke about when we were doing heavy squats. The day you did the heavy squats wasn't so bad. The day after, you started feeling sore, but by the third day, you had what we called the anti-toilet seat butt. You couldn't even sit on the toilet because your butt hurt so bad from doing the squats. In any case, you need recovery in order to benefit from the exercise. You can't just exercise, beat yourself up every single day and expect to improve. In fact, you'll pretty quickly degenerate to a point where you just can't do it anymore. So plan on taking plenty of time for your muscles to recover before you tear them down again in your next session of exercise. Okay, so now you know how you should think about it. You know you're going to need time to recover, but what exercises should you be doing? Well, first, let's talk about the kinds of exercises there are. In my mind, there's really three different types of exercises. And from my own perspective, I'm very interested in functional fitness. That is that the results of your exercises, the results of your fitness program is that you're able to do everything you want to do physically. You're able to go play a game of tennis, golf, play with your grandkids, hike, climb a mountain, any of those kinds of things that you should be able to do. So that's how I approach exercise. So if we think about exercise as divided into three different categories, one would be steady state cardio. That's like running on a treadmill. If you're not in shape to run, just going for a long walk. Those kinds of things where you're keeping your heart rate up, your respiration up to a nice maintainable level for a fairly significant period of time, something 20, 30 minutes long. And that's another thing. Fitness is an everyday thing. It's a lifestyle. It's not a goal. It's a way to live. The way you eat, the way you move, it's a way of life. It's not just something you're going to achieve and then you're going to quit and everything's going to be fine. You do this is a thing that you can do your entire life. It's always going to help you live a better, more active, more engaged life. So remember to think of it that way. But now back to the types of exercises. So steady state cardio, then there's resistance exercise like weights, like what you see back here, lifting weights, or of course resistance exercise can be done with just body weight or with other things that you have around that are heavy. It's a matter of stressing your muscles with some form of weight resistance that is more difficult than what you normally do. And then the third type of exercise is what we call high intensity interval training, or HIIT. It's abbreviated HIIT. Probably the easiest example of that would be doing burpees. Burpees are something that most people can't. I mean, if you're just getting started, doing one might be quite a challenge, but most people definitely will struggle to do 10 in a row, probably 5 in a row. But that's the kind of thing where you can do as many as you can do, and then you take a little breather, catch your breath, and then go again. That's high intensity interval training, doing something that's very intense, engages your whole body, and you can only do it for a brief period of time. Then you've got to take a breather, and then you go back and do it again. That's where we call the intervals. You have an interval of high intensity effort, followed by a brief rest, and then you do it again. So those are your three divisions. Now, just reflecting back on recovery, you do need some time in between, particularly in between resistance exercise sessions, in order for your muscles to recover. So I like to look at the body divided into two parts. Again, this is some pretty detailed stuff, but not badly detailed, but divide your body into two parts. An easy split is what I call a push-pull routine. So one day you're doing chest, shoulders, and triceps, and the other day you're doing your legs, your back, and your biceps. And by doing that, if you work one day chest, shoulders, and triceps, and then the next day you can work legs, back, and biceps, you're not really hitting the same muscles 2 days in a row. So one set of muscles is resting while you're working the other muscles. Then you take another day off. After those 2 days, you take a day off from resistance exercise, or maybe 2 before you start that cycle again. And that gives your body plenty of time to recover, build back a little bit stronger, and go on. The high intensity interval training is a little different. You are still exercising your muscles, and depending on how far you go with it, if you do 30 minutes of HIIT training, it's probably a good idea to take an additional day off in between. Maybe just go for a walk on that day off or something that's a lot less strenuous in order for your body to recover again. And then of course the steady state cardio, depending on how sore you are, what's going on from your other workouts, steady state cardio, a good goal if you're just starting out is not to try and run a marathon, but set a goal out there some distance. And an easy one is just say 3 miles. Just say that you're going to work till you can do 3 miles, till you can actually run for 3 miles without having to stop. Now, that might mean that the first day you go out and you walk, and you walk 3 miles. But if you set the goal to always complete the 3 miles, regardless of whether you had to run, walk, or crawl, then eventually, and you'll probably be surprised how quickly you can get to where you can actually run that 3 miles. 100 years ago, life was difficult enough that doing all this exercise stuff was laughable. Nobody even would have considered it. But now, for most of us, life has gotten pretty easy. It's pretty easy to survive, to get through your day without exerting a lot of effort. So it is important to do something physical every day. I think a good target, the way I look at exercise as a lifestyle, is you don't want it to take up your whole life. You don't want it to consume your life. Unless you're going to be competitive in some event, you probably don't need to spend more than 30 minutes a day doing something that's physical. And then the more fit you get, the more likely it is that your other activities during the day, like maybe playing a game of tennis, shooting some hoops, or going for long walks, those kinds of things are going to be a lot more possible for you. And so you're going to get some of your exercise just through living your life. But 30 minutes a day is a good target. I hope this has been useful information, and if it was, please share it and subscribe to the channel, and it'll help me continue to bring you hopefully valuable and entertaining information. Thanks for watching.